In these lessons, you are going to roll up your sleeves and get your hands dirty by writing your first HTML. You'll learn how to save the HTML as a file and then load the file in a web browser. And thus, you have created your first web page. Okay, our first step is to open a text editor program. Even though we are merely typing, we cannot use a word processing program. We need a text editor that accepts 100% plain text. If I'm not sure what that means, is okay. It just means that we need a program that is specifically designed or dedicated to typing code. And luckily for us, the industry's most popular text editor, even amongst top professionals, is entirely free to download and use. So right now, in the new tab in your web browsers, I want you to search for Visual Studio Code. As of this recording, the official website's domain is code.visualstudio.com. Now, this program is created by Microsoft, meaning it's safe to install on our computer because it's from a reputable source. And regardless of whether you are using Windows, Mac or Linux, you can see it as entirely free to download and use. So right now, I want you to pause this video lesson while you go and download the Visual Studio Code. Okay, once your download completes, then go into your computer's downloads folder, double click the downloaded file, and you should be able to click the next button through the automated installer. Okay, all of the default options or choices will be perfectly okay. Or if you're on Mac, extract the downloaded file and then drop that into your application folders. Okay, so pause this video, go download and install the Visual Studio Code. From this point, I'm going to assume that anyone moving forward in the video has installed VS Code or Visual Studio Code. So now go ahead and open the program. The very first time you open the program, you might see a welcome screen that doesn't look exactly like this. But you can just go ahead and click the X or to close the tab. And then the next time you open the program, it should look something like this, right? I see a welcome screen, and right now I just want to create a new file. There are several different ways to create a new file. But why don't we use the file menu up in the top left corner and then click new file? Cool, right? So now we have this new empty place where we can begin typing. So in the content area here, you can see my cursor blinking. Type this in with me. Let's create a heading level 1 tag. So less than h1, more excellent than h1. So let's just say this is a test. And then let's close out the heading level 1 tag. So less than forwarding slash h1 greater than the symbol. Okay? And now our next step is to save this file so that we can open it and view it in a web browser. So you can go up into the top left file menu and click file and then save. Or you can use your keyboard shortcut. So that's Ctrl and S on Windows or Command and S on Mac. First of all, go ahead and choose a location on your computer that's easy for you to remember. So perhaps you can save it to your desktop or a folder on your desktop, or it's totally up to you. Okay, but choose the locations that you can easily find again in the future. And so now for the name of the file, so in this save as file name field, let's say my page, and then this is the critical part, .html. So the dot and then what comes after the dot is the file extension. So for example, maybe you have heard people refer to a photo as a JPEG, right? So photo would be its file name and then .jpeg. But since this is a web page and it's the file name, which can be anything you want, and then .html. This tells the computer that what type of file it is. Okay, and once you have chosen that name, then let's go ahead and save this file. Okay, now at this point, I want you to go and locate that file using your computer's file explorer. So in my case, I save it to a folder on my desktop named learn.html. You likely save it somewhere different on your computer. but I just want you to go and locate or find the file that you just created. Okay, now I want you to open a web browser, perhaps to a new empty tab, and I want you to drag, so click and drag your new file that we just created. Drag on top of a web browser window, release it, and there we have it. You just view your first web page. However, we must admit that this is not one publicly available web page or website. We did not purchase a real domain or the .com. The address is just pointing towards our personal physical computer, and it means that you are the only one in the world who can view this particular web page right now. But for now, that's okay. At this point in this course, we are just trying to learn about HTML code. Okay, later in the course, we can learn how actually to push our website or web pages live up onto the web, so that you can share with them, your friends, family and colleagues with a shareable URL. But for now, don't worry about that aspect at all. Okay, we are just focusing on the actual HTML content of the page, and feel free to make any changes to the HTML file. Save again and then refresh the web browser, and you can see your latest changes appear right before you know that you are familiar with text editors and the process of saving a file and loading it in the web browser. Okay, we are on the same page now. Okay, so this means that you can follow along with all of these course examples on your computer. In our next lessons, we'll learn how to create a bulleted list, or more importantly, we'll know how each HTML element can stack and nest inside one another. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'll see you in the next lesson.